to the Breaker Bros, and this is our reaction to the Bengals versus Cardinals game, which I think the final score was 37-14. Cardinals kind of scored, I would say for sure in garbage time, but
yeah, I was gonna say 37-14, but was not that close. Not that it matters.
Well, it's another game where Burrow didn't have to play the fourth quarter, so
yeah. I mean, it's perplexing, right? Because being from the 90s, I don't know if this is like a mirage or if the defense is playing better. Because, I mean, this is like classic 90s Bengals, right? Like they play poorly, and then the last 3 or 4 games, they win a lot of games and give you hope. And then from the 90s, the following year would also suck. So I'm inclined to believe this is real because, I mean, Burrow's amazing. Jamar Chase is awesome. T. Higgins is awesome. Chase Brown looks really good. Offensive line looks better. Like the foundation fundamentals are there. But I still remember the 90s. So I don't know how to feel about it. How do you feel about it?
Well, I think it's just a result of like the young players on the defense playing well. I mean, I feel like throughout the game, I mean, minus the fourth quarter, in that one series, and I think the first quarter where they scored, it didn't seem like anyone could tackle. But they held the tight ends in check, and I felt like Dax Hill had a pretty good game overall. I felt like he broke up a lot of passes. Miles Murphy got another sack. I think Shamar Stewart got a sack. But it felt like throughout the game, the defense played well. I mean,
yeah. I mean, talking about Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart, this game made me feel like, hey, maybe the Bengals have what they need at defensive end, And looking ahead to the draft, I mean, there are 3 dudes from Ohio State that could really upgrade the defense. They got that amazing safety, and they've got like 2 like high-end elite linebackers. So it's like if the Bengals could shore up the tackling up the middle of the defense, I feel like, maybe the defensive line's not so bad. They have some corners. They have, I mean, between Dax Hill and DJ Turner, I mean, maybe they have something.
Yeah, I mean, their secondary looks pretty good. I mean, if you look at Dax Hill, DJ Turner, is this Cam Taylor-Britt's final year? Can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back.
Yeah, he might not be back. But I was thinking maybe if he had another year. But, yeah, I mean, as time goes on, as it gets closer to the draft, and, if the Bengals somehow can still stay in the top 10 draft order. Yeah, no, that Caleb Downs, man. He's
Caleb Downs, man. Come on down to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right about.
I mean, if you plug Caleb Downs into what the Bengals have right now, it's like, wow, maybe they'd have a good defense. I mean, anytime I look into Caleb Downs as a player, it's just like, yeah, that he's the type of guy that I think could turn around a defense, because in addition to being like a really good player, like I think he's like a super high character dude.
The only thing with that,
like the hardest worker on the team.
I mean, you would definitely know more than me, but is he considered like a coverage safety, or is he more like a Von Bell?
No,
or like a reinforcer.
He's like Hamilton for the Ravens.
So he can just do a little bit of everything.
He does everything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The only thing about him is I don't know how well he would pair with Battle. I mean, he would obviously be a huge upgrade over Stone, I would have to imagine. I shouldn't say huge because, like, I think he's a really good player. But
huge. huge. It would be like I mean it's sort of like Geno Stone's going to have happen to him again. What happened with Hamilton with the Ravens, right? Like I think
Yeah.
Caleb Downs is the thing I like most about him is that he was an amazing player for Alabama, and then he went to Ohio State for more money or NIL or for whatever reason, right? I assume it's money. But like day one, he was like an impact dude. You know what I mean? So like if you got a guy who can play at the highest level of college football, right? And be like an impact player, two different teams, the two best leagues in college. I mean, that's the kind of guy that could completely take the defense from being mediocre to being good.
Yeah, no,
But not to get too far ahead of myself.
well, I still think, regardless, we're going to have to address the linebacker situation.
Yeah, but Ohio State has two guys that could do that too. Like if you like the early PFF stuff is like Ohio State has like three like top 15 dudes on defense, and they're right up the middle, safety and two linebackers. All three of those dudes could upgrade the Bengals defense. So like my number one wish would be Caleb Downs, because I feel like safety would fix a lot of problems, and they invested a ton in linebacker. But if you don't get Caleb Downs, then maybe you get one of the linebackers from Ohio State. They're both like 6'4", 250 guys who run. I mean, what do the Bengals struggle with? Tackling, covering tight ends. You know, I think that those guys would all be in play, but maybe not so much for the linebackers, but for sure Caleb Downs, because if you're looking at a linebacker, maybe they go defensive line, like in the top half of the first round. But like, I feel like if you could get Caleb Downs in that 10 to 15 range, I feel like that could be like a franchise changer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, depending on which route they go in the draft, whether they get a linebacker safety in the first round, I feel like in the free agency, at some point, they're going to have to pick up veterans just to fill some of those holes, because, you know, I don't think they'll bring back Hendrickson, but you could use a lot of that money to bring in an upgrade, whether it's linebacker or safety. It'll be kind of tricky because it's like they're going to have to do free agency first, but I think they do like the classic Bengals. You get a guy that has good upside, somewhat of a veteran, but you don't have to overpay him. But then if there is a rookie that you can draft early, you don't feel bad starting him, because it's not like you just paid a free agent a whole bunch of money to basically start.
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, the types of guys that you can get in free agency are like meat and potatoes kind of guys on defense. Like TJ, it's TJ or DJ Slayton.
TJ.
Like, I think he's like a really good free agent, right? But he's kind of like a run stoppers don't get paid elite money, but a huge upgrade for the defense, right? Like, I mean, he's like the type of guy that the Bengals were missing last year. Like, I just don't think you can sign like pass rushers or like high end guys. Those are guys you have to draft, right? Like, safety's kind of in between. Like, I feel like you can get a good safety in free agency. Not that they have in the past, but you know, I feel like maybe you can get a safety, but like, I was not high on Kyle Hamilton coming out of college because I thought he was too slow. But obviously he's a great player. So he was a guy that, if I remember right, he was like maybe in the top 2 or 3 players rated by PFF, but like the Ravens got him at 14, right? So I think if, you know, we were looking it up last week, right? Safeties, you can get them between 5 and 10. So it's all. I feel like the trend is later for safety in more recent years because people draft like wide receivers and quarterbacks in the top of the draft. And then obviously offensive linemen, if there's like elite tackles, those guys go in the top 10. So maybe safety could slide to the Bengals and you could get like an elite safety in the top 15, which would be like a huge upgrade for them.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, as time moves on, it seems like Caleb Downs seems more realistic. Because I saw the Dolphins, they won today.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, great. Because they're still one game ahead of the Bengals in terms of record. But I also saw that the Chiefs, though, they're ahead of the Bengals in the draft. And I feel like they're always like a team that would take like a Caleb Downs ahead of the Bengals. So I'm
not worried about the Chiefs taking Caleb down. I feel like the Chiefs are going to pick a receiver.
I mean, that probably would make the most sense.
Because, I mean, it feels like Kelsey's going to retire, right?
That or possibly a running back that would be dynamic, but I don't think there's
or offensive lineman or defensive tackle.
Yeah, they may have to go defensive tackle. Or safety. I don't think their safeties are that great. I don't know. I think.
Yeah, I think that's really like a league-wide thing. I think it's more like positional value, right? Like I think it's like I think safety is kind of like running back, where like it's kind of lost favor with like high picks in the draft. Like I feel like safety, linebacker, and running back are kind of lesser valued positions, and then like tackle, defensive interior, defensive edge rushers, quarterbacks, and receivers are like the elite positions.
They could probably go tackle because I feel like that Jawan Taylor, his contract, one of their tackles contract is probably coming up.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, if the Bengals got like a top end interior defensive lineman, I wouldn't be upset with that either.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like middle is the way I feel about it.
Yeah, they need to shore up the middle, but I feel like the tackling is the biggest problem. So like if they could just get like a safety or a linebacker that can tackle well, that's also like an elite athlete, in terms of NFL level, I feel like that'll fix a lot of problems. But we're ahead of ourselves. We're supposed to be reacting to the game. Well, how did this win make you feel, Josh?
I mean, feels better to win than to lose, but at the same time, it kind of doesn't mean anything, at least to me as a fan. I mean, I'm sure it means a lot to the players, and they're playing like it. I felt like, the one thing with Joe Burrow, it feels like they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and with playing against the Cardinals and the Dolphins, and kind of making it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it goes to show like how elite their offense really is, but at the same time, like part of this is fool's gold in the sense that they aren't playing that great of teams, and the defense has played better since since the bye. However, it's just like as long as they cover the things that you were talking about, we got to upgrade the safety, which I think we'll have to, because pretty sure Geno Stone's contract is up after this year. But regardless, they're going to have to get a starter quality safety. But then whether they decide to get a veteran or draft a linebacker high, I mean, they're probably going to get veterans early in free agency, but I think they get those guys that are kind of mid-tier where you can see them as an upgrade versus what we have now. And if they are in a position to take one of those linebackers or safety early in the draft, maybe, again, kind of like last year, if they take it within the first couple of rounds, maybe they are expected to start, so maybe you can get a quality starter, safety, and linebacker in the draft early. But I still think they got to go search for those people. And maybe you do bring back Osai. It really just depends on how much he's looking for. But I just don't want them to go into this offseason and thinking like, oh,
Yeah.
defense figured itself out. We don't have to do
Yeah,
much.
but like, how do you feel about the edge guys? Like, this game, I was like, yeah, I see it. I feel like Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart. I feel like those guys are going to be good. Like this game, they really look like you know, high end defensive edge guys.
They look good, but to be fair, I mean, it was against the Cardinals. I'm assuming it was their backup players or maybe even their third stringers in some part of the line, because it seemed like they're dealing with a lot of injuries throughout the year. But I mean, again, but that's what your number one picks should look like.
That's what I'm saying. They look
Oh.
like number one guys.
Yeah, no, and I think
And
they would have to
like,
bring back one of the, either Trey Hendrickson or Osai. I feel like they can't.
I feel like you don't need to bring either of those guys back. I feel like you just draft a guy in the second or third round.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, yeah, you start Shamar Stewart and Miles Murphy, and then
the
you
thing
draft
is
a guy
that
to be a rotation
money.
guy.
They're gonna have around $100 million to spend essentially on the defense. So I mean,
I disagree. I spend it on offensive line.
well, I mean, if there's an interesting left tackle
that's what I'm talking about. It's like if you can get like a high end tackle, then that's what I'd be focused on with my money.
Yeah, potentially, but then I feel like the offensive line looks pretty good. Feels like they work really well with each other. But with that said, then they're going to have to extend Reisner. I feel like.
Yeah,
Another
I would not be against extending Reisner. I like the offensive line. I just think like you got to think about the future because I feel like left tackle is kind of a short term thing.
Well,
I feel
yeah,
like left tackle and center is like something they need to start looking, to bridge the gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think they extended Karras, so
for 26. But I'm just saying, like, you need to who's going to backfill Karras is what they should be focused on
in the draft or free agency.
I don't know. You know how much I like the guy in the practice squad, so maybe they have the plan already.
Yeah, I mean that has great potential, and I don't think Matt Lee's that bad either. It felt like every time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but they
play, he looked good.
But really, my biggest fear is the left tackle.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think early on I was like, oh man, I feel like Orlando Brown Jr. kind of lost his step a little bit, but then he's looked pretty solid pretty much the second half of the year. So it made me think like, he looked good enough to where, like what you said, it's a short-term solution. So
right. Like it's just like they need to like figure out what to do next. It's a delicate thing because nobody likes to have the replacement show up, but
I don't know. I feel like there's so much they can do on the defensive side just to make them. Because I feel like they have a lot of good pieces already, but I feel like they just need to add more depth and get those role players and not be so top heavy. Because there was just so much last 2 or 3 years that the Bengals defense relied on Hendrickson to get the pressure, and it felt like he always kind of came through and bailed the defensive out. Now they're in a situation where it kind of reminds me of when Marvin Lewis had his thing going on where he would rotate in a lot of the defensive line, and overall they would have consistent pressure regardless who would be in. And it kind of feels like that now with the Bengals because a lot of the younger players had got more time to play with all the injuries. And and they're starting to deliver. And I don't know. I almost, the more I think about it, I can see where they bring back Osai. I feel like it kind
Why
of
bring back Osai? I would bring back Hendrickson if I brought back anybody.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it I guess that still has potential. I mean, I don't think
I
he's going to
mean,
get a contract anywhere else. Not like what it was going to be if he could have played most of this year.
yeah,
But
it's interesting to see how his injury will impact his free agency, right?
oh, it's going to impact it in an adverse way. It can't help him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like with the Bengals, is I feel like they gladly give him $30 million to come back.
No, they give him 25 at this point.
Either way, like they would for sure give him like a high-ish number for 1 year. And what will he get for like a multi-year deal on the open market? Like the defensive end market is something I just don't understand, right?
I also thought they could tag him and then essentially trade him to the Raiders and maybe get Max Crosby because his contract looks pretty good. Because he's got 3 more years and his cap hit is essentially 28 million a year, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I like Max Crosby, but that sounds so good. I mean, I feel like that's just getting my hopes up.
Well, I feel like it kind of makes sense because the Raiders wouldn't really trade him without a replacement. Now, obviously, you would want the younger guy if you're thinking long term, but it feels like something weird going on with his situation. So
I feel like Max Crosby could be traded for because I feel like the Raiders are kind of like a team that's building for the future, right? They're obviously tanking. So his timeline's different than the rest of their franchise, right?
he could be going to the worst case scenario, the Ravens.
Maybe.
Because the Ravens could trade Lamar Jackson for him. Do something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think it's more picks, right? Like there's a team that has a ton of picks, right?
Oh, that would be the Browns.
Yeah, that would be scary. Max Crosby and Myles Garrett together.
No. I mean, they have the capital to do it, but they still need a quarterback. So I feel like they kind of have to focus on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. If it was up to me, with most of the money that they're going to have, it's like get some really good role players, add a lot of depth to that defense. And yeah, I mean, the defense is looking a lot better since the bye. You know, I was pretty harsh with their Al Golden. Like, you got to fire him, but hopefully an full off season with him, they could take another step forward. But I still feel like they got a lot of work to do with the linebackers. Get that legit.
Yeah, I don't know that the linebacker situation's good. I think they need to fix that.
Yeah, I think they're going to do something. I mean, I would bring in a veteran one way or another. And because they have Burks, but even when Burks was in, it seemed like they were still having some issues. But I mean, maybe part of it is they need to address the defensive tackle and get another reader type guy in there, and not just rely on that one person to always do it. Because it feels like, however he did it, Reader seemed to do really well with that. Like always being the guy that's taking the double teams and.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Reader was such a good player for the Bengals. I mean, he was so good.
Yeah, the only thing was that, you know, he had 2 significant injuries that cut his season short.
Yeah. I mean, like when he played, though, he was like the dude. Like he was what made that defense work. And Like he was so good. Like it's just like I would take anybody as good as DJ Reader. I mean, they haven't had that good of a defensive interior player since, right? I mean, the year or two where he was like at the top of his game with the Bengals. I mean, it's hard to think of a Bengals defensive interior player that was better than DJ Reader. Like when he had that run, he was just like he would stop the rush up the middle, and he was getting pressure on the quarterback. He was like probably one of the keys to that defense.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, they can get another impact player like him. Like I just feel like they just need a better rotation. It just seems like once they have a certain guy out, then the offense tends to key on that. But the last couple of games have been pretty good for the defense, I feel like. But also, I feel like the teams that they're playing are not firing at all cylinders and pretty much out of the playoffs. So
yeah, but I mean, like, if the defense was average, the Bengals would be a playoff team. Like if the defense was like the sixth, will be even lower than average. If the defense was the 17th best defense statistically the entire season, the Bengals would be a playoff team right now. Because they would have won those games with Flacco, and they would have, 2-3 more wins. Like they don't need to be elite. They need to be just average.
yeah, then I think if you get those reinforcers up the middle, I think that's
I don't care how old they are. I don't care if they're like a 13th year. I don't care if they get Calais Campbell.
I was thinking
if they could tackle and they play linebacker and safety, then get those dudes. Like if it's a rookie who can tackle, fine. They just need a guy who's going to be a sure tackler. Somebody's going to clean up all the misses. Even the broadcast was just scorching Geno Stone on that touchdown.
Yeah.
In the first half. I mean, it was just like, you got to bring that guy down. There's like no excuse for that.
Yeah. Can't try to just tackle with your shoulder pad. You got to at least, because if he would have attempted to wrap up, I think that would have pushed him out of bounds. He would have had more momentum, but he just like dove at him with his shoulder pad and just kind of bounced off of him. Like, whoop.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. To be fair, I mean, it's not easy to do, and that's why they're in the NFL. But I think there's definitely an opportunity to.
We will have a moment here where we admit that we are not elite NFL level athletes. However, if the Bengals had a better safety, that wouldn't have been a touchdown.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, the defense looked really good against that Cardinals offense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, this was the game where I was like, Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart, they look like dudes. They look like guys who can play.
Slayton got a sack, and I feel like there's someone else. I think Cedric Johnson got a sack, and it seemed like they had consistent pressure. There's like a ton of pass breakups.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Did what's this? Osai didn't even play this game, did he?
Oh yeah, he was out.
That's what I mean. I'm like, to me, this game showed you don't need to resign him. Like, they've got a rotation. I don't think he's better than the guys in the rotation. You got to move on, save money. That being said, I really like Osai. But, like, I mean, if you're building a roster and you're trying to build a team, you just cap management can't be, like, who's the kick returner we have now?
Williams.
Like, I mean, that's what I'm talking about with, like, wasting a draft pick on, I want to call him Charlie Murphy, but Charlie Jones.
Yeah, what about Charlie Jones?
I'm just saying, like, the guy they picked up off the waiver wire is equivalent. So I feel like you got to move on.
I mean, Charlie Jones is what scored is it 4 touchdowns off of returns? That's
I'm gonna
pretty
say
good.
two.
Huh?
2.
I feel like it's like 4. Because I feel like he's returned at least 2 kickoffs. Then I think that was this year. And I'm pretty sure he's returned 2 punts for touchdown.
Okay.
I feel like it's a Google question, but
Yeah, it's a Google question. Either way, from like a roster management, like your kick returner, you get them off the waiver wire. You don't spend a 3rd round pick on them. They need to be spending 3rd round picks on.
well, I think they expected him to play.
Okay, wait. I keep calling him 3rd round pick. He's a 4th round pick, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to be spending 4th round picks on linemen or dudes who can tackle, not on kick returners.
Well, I don't think they drafted him just to be a kicker returner. I think they expected him to maybe play a little bit more in the slot.
Yeah, agreed.
But I think it was just Yossi Vash has done whatever he's done to kind of take that spot away.
I don't know what Yoshi Vosh has done to earn
He
that
actually had a
spot.
pretty decent game.
He had what, a career game, 40 yards. Woo. Woo.
I don't know about. I mean, he converted, I think, at least 3 third downs for a first down.
4 catches for 41 yards. Woo.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're for first
That's
down,
like his best game of the year. 4 catches.
Well,
Who
I mean,
cares?
he's like the
Garbage.
fourth receiving option. I mean, that's
Huh?
that's kind of what you should expect him to do if he's like the 4th option.
He shouldn't be the 4th option.
Who-
Gesicki's better.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Gesicki is the 3rd option.
Okay.
Should be Jamar T, Gesicki, and him.
And Chase Brown would be my 4th option.
I think, yeah. I mean, technically, that probably is true,
Yeah.
especially at this
I don't
point.
know. Like his first catch today, I don't think it was a catch. They got away with one.
Oh yeah, I think that was. I
His
was kind of
hands
surprised they
just
didn't.
are suspect, man. I feel like when Burrow throws it to Yoshibas, he throws it a little bit. He takes a little bit off. I think like the Bengals have figured out that Yoshibas can't catch the fastball. Like when they throw it to him, it's like throwing to the fullback, where it's like, well, you can't throw it above his shoulder pads because he can't lift his arms up, and you can't throw it hard. You got to like throw it soft between his shoulders and his gut, and then he can catch it.
Yeah, but I mean, he still had a pretty good game.
40 yards. That's not a good game.
And he converted down for, I think, 4 first down catches. So I think that's pretty good.
I'm just saying, like if you're a 3rd or 4th round pick and the guy who beat you out, his best game of the year is 40 yards, then that's a problem.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we're kind of, when it comes to this position, it's like when you have T and Chase, I mean, and technically whoever their receiving tight end is going to be, I feel like is always going to be the 3rd option.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think they have to be a starter quality receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're misinterpreting me. I'm not. I mean, I am crapping all over Yoshibas. Don't get me wrong. I'm being very critical of him, but only to point out how disappointed I am in the Burton and Charlie Jones picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think
not so much to be hard on Yoshibas. I'm just saying, like, that's the guy that beat these other guys out that were drafted clearly. Like, I think that those guys were drafted not only to be starters, but like as a hedge on Higgins or Chase leaving, and like they're not even close to being like they got beat out for their spots by Yoshibas, who's who he is.
Yeah, I mean, can't really say much about the offense. I mean, everything, or even really the defense, because the Cardinals didn't score again until...
It was a great game by the Bengals all the way around. They beat the crap out of a team that was terrible.
Yeah,
They've
made him look
proven
bad.
that they are way better than the bottom of the league. And, like, I feel like with what's being understanding who the Arizona Cardinals are this week of the NFL season, right? Like a flawed team with a lot of injuries. So, like, one of the worst teams in the NFL, right? We're still talking about the Bengals defense that gave up like 40 points to the Jets, right? So they're playing better.
Yeah, that Jets game's a weird one with that amount of points. Just how good what's his face looked. I'm just thinking like, man. But I mean, to the Bengals' credit, or at least their defense, they've definitely looked better since the bye, and they've gotten better. It's just taken way too long.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that's a fair criticism. It took too long. I don't know who you should be critical of, right? Is it a GM issue for expecting too much out of like a completely revamped defense? Or if if you're like the owner, you're just like, well, injuries next year will be fine, right? Or if you blame the coach. From my perspective, I don't think you can blame the coach.
The head coach and GM, they didn't obviously have.
I think it's a GM thing because I think that between Anarumo and Golden, obviously the players just weren't there.
Well, I mean, I think they figured out what they do well now, and I noticed
what do they do well?
Huh?
What do they do well?
As far as the Bengals defense, I mean, it's hard for me to say, but I mean, they're obviously doing something. They've looked better. They haven't given up as much points. I mean, the biggest glaring difficulty they seem to have consistently is guarding the tight end. So they have coverage issues, but feels like they are generating pressure more consistently.
Yeah, I feel like the pass rush has gotten better.
And I feel like when you look at some of their corners and, Battle, I feel like it's hit or miss. Stone is pretty much a lost cause going into next year. But if you're looking at Dax Hill and DJ Turner, I mean, they actually look pretty good. I mean, especially this last half of the year, they're starting to get a lot of pass breakups, both of them consistently.
Yeah, I've always thought that Dax Hill was a good player. Like his problem was just injuries.
And they just didn't know where to put him initially, and that to me, I guess that's more of a Lou issue. Like, I don't know. It just seems like they probably.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like Miles Murphy would probably be further, or he would have been this good earlier if they would have played him more. So that's something you could blame Lou for.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, I'm like, okay, well, the defense is getting better, right? So you feel like, okay, maybe Al Golden can put together a good an average NFL defense is what we're hoping for, right? Feel like Al Golden can put together an average NFL defense with the pieces that he has. And I really don't feel like they're missing that many pieces. I feel like if they just shore up the middle and got better at tackling, because I feel like they just blow coverages and miss like major tackles, right? Like just like between the safeties and I'm going to blame the safeties and linebackers. I feel like if you upgrade those two positions, the defense is going to be average. And if the defense is average, then you're talking about a playoff team.
And I feel like they're just missing that one defensive tackle outside of like Slayton and EJ Hill.
Yeah, I mean, if you got like a stud defensive tackle, that would fix a lot of things, but like that's hard to do, right?
Well, I think that's what causes some of the issues up the middle, especially for the linebackers. Is that
I think some of the problems with the linebackers is they just don't cover people they're supposed to cover.
That's part of it because you have two rookie linebackers that are trying to figure everything out.
And they take bad angles, and then when they get there, they don't tackle guys. That's kind of like the safety linebacker problem is like they don't cover who they're supposed to cover. they take bad angles, and like they miss tackles. Is like,
But I feel like outside of that one drive, they had a pretty good game this game.
yeah. I
Even
mean,
had a few
that's
pass
fair. I mean,
breakups.
the other thing is they are young, so like early in the season they were just required to do so much that there was no chance for patience. And now that like the season's, they're just playing for brownie points and for, you know, gold stars at this point, that like you can have some patience to like, oh yeah, they're getting better. But if they fix that, regardless of how they fix it, if the guys that they have just start tackling better and covering better, then the defense will be good. Or if they replace them with guys that are better at tackling and covering people, then the defense will be good. And then, yeah, of course, if you could get like a stud defensive tackle, either in free agency or the draft, that makes any defense better. But like finding that guy is really hard to do.
I'm looking more for like a someone that's like another TJ Slayton, where like you can plug him up the middle and really stop the run, not necessarily get pressures.
Yeah, I
So like
feel
if
like
you had another
between
one of those
TJ
guys,
Slayton and BJ Hill, the Bengals have like solid, professional, you know, replacement level NFL dudes, right? They do what they're supposed to do. You know, they're not Pro Bowl guys, but they're like, you know, going to make the right move. They're going to make their fair share of plays. But neither are like dominant dudes that are going to like take over games, right? So yeah, if, the only place, to me, in my opinion, the only place to get those guys is in the draft. Like, it's hard to sign guys like that in free agency. Like DJ Reader was like a home run signing, but like to expect to do that consistently, I think is ridiculous, right? Like it's
it
so
could be a
hard,
Reader.
huh?
I said it could be Reader.
Yeah. Hey, I'll drive up to Michigan, drive him back to Cincinnati right now if he wants to come play for the Bengals.
But make him more of like a role type player, not necessarily like a starter. But he
Yeah,
would
no,
come
I
in.
think that is another way of doing it. It's just like, okay, we got BJ Hill, we got TJ Slayton. What if we got another guy like them and they just played less plays, so like they're gonna be like, you know, more dynamic and fresher, and you get a good rotation. That's another way of doing it. But again, it doesn't fix the fact that the linebackers seem to not be good at tackling and covering tight ends, and the safety doesn't seem to be good at tackling.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to bring in people at all levels. I feel like. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way I look at it is like a math thing, right? Like if you're trying to bring up your average, the best way to do it is to get rid of your worst player and replace it with someone that's good, right? Because if you take someone who's average and replace it with someone good, it doesn't move the needle as much as if you get rid of your worst and replace it with someone that's good. So to me, the biggest holes are, you know, linebacker, safety. If you can get either one of those or both of those positions to be good or elite, then you take the defense from being bad to being average or even like a good defense.
yeah, it's just as long as whoever they bring in from free agency is known for tackling, I'm good.
Yeah, they need to look at how good dudes are at tackling, because obviously they like skip that part. They're like, well, they're big and fast and strong. It's just like, get dudes that can tackle. You got athletes, now get guys that actually tackle people.
But yeah, Burrow had a really good game, and then Chase Brown had a pretty solid game.
Yeah, I mean the right. I mean, you know, I mean Samaje Perine lit somebody up, pass coverage.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing that I liked is I liked all the games that they were playing at the beginning of the game with offensive linemen and tight ends.
Oh yeah.
There's something there. There's something there. Like I feel like
Ford had that 17 or 21 yard reception. That was pretty good.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe Zach's figuring something out, right? Like maybe there's a counter to the way that people are playing the Bengals, and the answer is in tight ends and extra linemen.
Yeah, I like it. I like what he was doing. Like they even put our backup guard. Is it Lucas Patrick? He was at fullback. They had a motion, so they're
Yeah,
doing a whole bunch of creative stuff.
yeah, I
So
liked all of it.
yeah, look good.
Yeah, I mean we were like 3 yards from a big man touchdown.
So close. I thought he
Yeah,
was going to score after you broke
yeah,
that.
he looked good. I
Yeah,
mean, he moves good.
yeah. I was pretty impressed. I was. I at one point I thought he was going to score, especially when he got.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think that corner was thinking? Like, what do you think was going through his mind throughout that play?
He just didn't want to get fell on
Yeah,
basically.
but I mean, like, imagine lining up and you're like, okay, who do I got? Do I got Jamar Chase? Do I got T. Higgins? Do I got Yoshi
Oh,
Voss?
he
I was
probably
like,
just thought it
what?
was like a
Why
gimmick.
is?
Like there's no way they're going to throw it to him, and then
Yeah,
he finally
exactly.
grabbed
You
his
start
hands.
off like there's no way. There's no way they're going to throw some kind of screen.
Well, the crazy part was it looked like that was Burrow's third read. It wasn't like because he definitely was looking somewhere else, and then he was like, "Crap, I gotta throw it to him," and he didn't, or maybe that was part of the play design is like make it seem like that's not the first read.
Yeah, did he run? He ran a route though.
No, he just stood there.
I thought he ran a route.
No, I think he just stood there. I think it was more of like a screen type thing.
Okay.
It was just after the catch because like he just pretty much stood there, and then because the corner gave him like 10 yards,
Uh-huh.
and then that's when he caught it, and then he kind of rolled out to the sideline, and then yeah, that corner wouldn't no business trying to take him down,
No.
which is understandable. I get it. That's more of a business decision.
Yeah, I don't want to tackle Cody Ford.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I mean, they all are once you are in the NFL and you're a lineman. I mean, they don't have any small ones.
Yeah, but he looked. I mean, running down that sideline, I was like, wow, that guy could.
No, he's
move.
pretty athletic for a offensive lineman. You can
Yeah.
tell.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, they should have just gave it to him as a fullback just to see what he could do.
Yeah, yeah. When
Why
they had
not?
him as fullback, why not just hand it to him, see if he can run it right through, into the end zone?
I mean, they had him in, and they used him more of a decoy.
Hmm.
But I saw what they were trying to do. They did the play action, but Fant was essentially wide open. It was just the guy that was blitzing on the other end just got to Burrow way too quick. If he had
Yeah.
like another half second, I think that was a touchdown.
Yeah,
But
there were a couple. There were a couple of running plays where I thought Dylan Fairchild looked good as a run blocker too.
yeah, it was on that same drive because after that play, yeah, I think they gave it back to Brown. He ran it in, and I think Fairchild like pulled to the right side of the line. He got a pretty good block for that touchdown. But yeah, no, I mean, I feel like they definitely have some good young pieces in certain areas, but now it's just on
They just need to plug the holes. You know what I mean? They got everything you need to win. They just have holes. They need to just plug the holes in the. all the
yeah,
leaky
I
holes.
think what it comes down to is just if you can add two more like real dynamic pieces on defense, then that should be enough. And it might be someone that's already on the team. I mean, the young guys are really starting to show out, but
Mhm.
but yeah, they just got to shore up the tackling, bring in those linebackers and safeties that can definitely make an impact. And
Yeah.
not
I don't know.
having
It just
hold your
just
breath.
made me think of like I saw a video a long time ago about like maybe it was Rice University, maybe it was like it was like an Ivy League school where like they had these like robots running around or moving around the field to train people how to tackle. I mean, it was the lamest thing ever. It looked so stupid because it was like like imagine like Cornell or someone practicing like tackling like the robots that bring you drinks at like the Japanese restaurant. They're like, oh, this is gonna teach them how to play football. It's like so easy to tackle.
Yeah.
But they need those robots. They need to call maybe it was like the other school. One of the Ivy League schools. Or Rice.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to add to this reaction?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's it. I mean, a win's a win, right? We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. All right, man.